Back here at home, fueled by the support of conservatives and the Tea Party, Newt Gingrich has now opened up double-digit leads in Florida and South Carolina. Are conservatives willing to overlook lapses in his own record? Mark Meckler is a co-founder of Tea Party Patriots and joins me now. And if you had to find a true Tea Party person on that stage Saturday night, it was clearly Michelle Bachmann.
I think that's true.
Yet at the same time, Newt Gingrich is the front runner. Are you comfortable with Newt Gingrich as the potential nominee?
Well, you know, first of all, I'm speaking for the movement at large and not just for myself. And I think it's divided. And I think you see that in the numbers. There is no groundswell of support for any individual candidate right now. People are still looking.
This was another exchange just today, following up on the debate. This was Mitt Romney taking on Newt Gingrich about his $1.6 million that we know of from Freddie Mac.
He was in the business of connecting folks with government. He was on K Street. This was a connection with government kind of business. It's very different than the private sector.
If Governor Romney would like to give back all the money he's earned from bankrupting companies and laying off employees over his years at Bain, that I would be glad to then listen to him. And I'll bet you $10, not $10,000, but he won't take the offer.
The one thing about Newt Gingrich is that he's a very good debater and he is a counterpuncher. And we're seeing that in this campaign, Mark.
Well, I think he can turn a phrase, but I actually think that his criticisms of Newt in regard to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac really hit the mark. Right now, people are concerned about that.
Ron Paul made that point for sure.
I think a lot of folks have made that point, and I think the history is there, and I think Newt's going to have a hard time explaining that away.
Are you comfortable with Mitt Romney? He certainly has a record that is as divided from the Tea Party as any of these other candidates.
You know, I don't think we're generally comfortable with any of them. I mean, we're not looking for the ideal candidate. We're looking for somebody who will do the best job of representing Tea Party values. They're all talking Tea Party values. That's the part that excites us. From Bachmann to Romney to Newt, they're all talking Tea Party values.
Could you support Romney?
On a personal level, frankly, ultimately, in the end, I think people will support anybody who's opposing President Obama. Is he the ideal candidate? I think that remains for the voters to say.
What about Ron Paul? Ron Paul, as the libertarian in this race, has very strong views and has certainly been more consistent than any of the others over his lifetime.
Well, I would argue that Bachmann's been just as consistent, though obviously a shorter career.
Sure.
But also Ron Paul differs from many Tea Party conservatives in his foreign policy initiatives and the way he views the world. And I think he's a lot more isolationist than a lot of Tea Partiers like.
Do you think that Romney's in real trouble?
You know, I think it's hard to say. If you look back to December of 2007, at this point, Rudy Giuliani was the front runner by over 10 points, and folks in the media were basically saying he was the presumptive nominee. So I think anything can happen from here until the primaries.
As a Tea Party leader, what about federal spending? Which of these Republican candidates has really been specific enough and credible enough on the whole subject of the debt?
I think they're all talking about the right things. I think history shows us that we should doubt all of them at their word. And it's going to take the Tea Party's pressure all the way up through the election and beyond in order to make sure they live up to their promises.
Mark Meckler, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to be with you.